Hey everybody, welcome to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson,
I'm Mike Gamble.
And I'm Nick Kinzel.
and we're here for another edition of the Kinzels Classroom. Professor, take it away.
All right, settle up, boys. Class is in session. Welcome back to another edition of Kinzel's Classroom here on the Stock Car Spectacle. For those of you who have not watched our show before, what the main goal here is, I've got five guys on my list right now, and it's up to my students right here to give them some grades. I'm gonna see if I agree or disagree. So, looking back at Kentucky, boys, I'm gonna say this right off the top of my head. I was very disappointed with many drivers this week. We're going to be having some new members to the Kinzels Classroom Breakfast Club after this one's all said and done. I was very disappointed, but we're going to start the show off on a good note here. To the group of people who passed the class, I just ranked them number one, the rookie class, with Cole Custer winning, Christopher Bell finished 7th, Tyler Reddick finished P10. These are the big three from last year. All of them had terrific runs. Ian Georgeson, if you had to give a grade for all three of them, how are we ranking them?
You know what? I would give the rookie class an A plus, and personally, I also give Cole Custer an A plus for running his ass off in this race. And yeah, good for Christopher Bell getting P7 in that 95 team. We know it's not the most funded team in NASCAR, and same with Tyler Reddick in that 8 car. I mean, he's just proven that Austin Dillon doesn't belong in that 3 car at all. So big fat A plus for that rookie class. Holy crap, what a race!
Really, everybody minus John Hunter Nemechek. They had great runs, and we were talking about this is probably like the most stealth rookie class that we've got, the most powerful rookie class that we got, and all three of them in the top 10. I hope to see more of that. So now that we got the one good note off of our chest here, time to get into some bad ones. First guy I was disappointed with, number 18 of Kyle Busch, P21. Started on the pole at a track where it's hard to pass at. So I thought he was going to be in great position here, go out there, lead some laps, because it's impossible to pass here. He did the exact opposite of that. Yeah, that advantage was gone after losing the lead to Almirola on lap 9 or 10 or whatever it was. Seemed like that, just dropped like a rock after, never recovered. And then the broken shocks kind of ruined his day. And my big concern out of this, panic mode for the 18 car guys. 0 playoff points, 0 wins all of 2020. Mike Gamble, what do you got?
That's got to be a big old fat red letter bold face F for Kyle Busch and the 18 team as a whole. What's getting to be concerning for me, from talking to some of our friends who follow Kyle Busch very closely, sounds like Adam Stevens also got very animated on the radio, cussing and yelling as well. I can't say for sure that it was at Kyle. I doubt that, and I don't think that's what would have happened. But again, to be hearing that Adam Stevens, who's usually the calm voice of reason for this team, to get that animated makes me start to wonder if they're getting a little desperate, if some things are kind of falling apart. Winning cures a lot and kind of will overshadow a lot. So now that things aren't going very well, maybe we're starting to see a little bit of animosity and a little bit of kind of some friction in the team. If I'm 18 fans, I am starting to get worried. We're well past the halfway point of the regular season now. Kyle Busch is still MIA on the year. He's still Kyle Busch, so at any moment he could decide to shut us all up and just turn it on and win 3 in a row. But as of right now, he's showing no signs of being the guy we've seen traditionally in that 18 car. I have to go with a big F for Kyle Busch, Adam Stevens, the whole 18 team.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's just because if the playoffs started right now, Kyle Busch would be like 15th in the playoff standings because he has 0 playoff points. That's really killing him right now. So next driver on the list, don't have to go too far because we're staying in the Gibbs stable here. Number 11 of Denny Hamlin. Yes, he finished P12, but he was non-existent most of this race. Stage 1, he was P24. He was as far back as P29 in Stage 1. Stage 2, P17. So no points. Really, all of JGR minus Martin Truex lacked speed all day. And so Ian Georgeson, how are we giving Mr. Hamlin today?
You know what? I gotta go with a solid D for Denny Hamlin for Sunday. Yeah, like you said, he was really nowhere to be found at Kentucky, man. They barely showed him on TV. He wasn't having any good runs. So yeah, big old fat D for Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I went D plus here. The only reason he gets a D plus is he had the solid rebound, but also we had absolute crazy happen on restarts. But here's my concern with Denny Hamlin going forward. It seems like if he's not winning, he's nowhere to be found. Like I have not seen recently. It's either Denny Hamlin's winning races or he's kind of just stuck back there. So if he wants to move forward and finally get the monkey off his back and win himself a championship, he's got to be up front more consistently because the past few weeks at least, that's not been the case for the driver of the number 11. So the next driver on my list, I was going to save him for a controversy driver, but we already talked about him in the race review. So we're going to go with the 48 here, Jimmie Johnson, P18. So he started off the race pretty solid. Stage 1, he was P11. Stage 2, he was P8. But then it was Jimmy versus Brad. Who's in the wrong? We already know that. Mike Gamble. How are we assessing Mr. Johnson's day?
See, that's a tougher one because other than blocking late, he had a decent enough day. He was running well into the top 10, at top 5 at a couple points during the
Yeah, he was
race.
up there.
So I'm gonna go with a C minus here. So nabbed up some stage points in the second stage. Ran pretty well for a lot of the race. I without having the advanced stats in front of me, I bet you had a pretty awesome average running position during the race. Because there were a lot of times that 48 was on the TV screen, and it wasn't just because they were pandering to Jimmie Johnson. We've talked pretty extensively about what happened between him and Brad Keselowski in our race review. So, guys, you haven't watched that, go back and check it out. You hear our thoughts on that. But just to give a quick recap, as we all said, it was Jimmie Johnson's fault. So that kind of kills their day. So I'm going to go with a C minus.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I was going to give him a C as well because I really didn't care for his post-race comments and everything because it was his fault. But now, the driver of controversy here that we're going to get both of your takes from is that number 10 car of Eric Almirola. Finished the race 8th. He dominated the first part of the race, but once we got into the midway point of stage 2, he never recovered. Yeah, here's my problem with Eric Almirola is that he just cannot close the deal out. We saw this recently at Pocono. We've seen it in the past before. He goes out, he dominates early parts of races. He just can't finish the job. And going down the road later, as we get into the playoffs, he puts himself in those kinds of positions. He's got to be able to close the deal if he wants to move on. I'm sure he has to be disappointed in that. He still finished P8, but I know that 10 team thought they were winning this race. So we're going to get both of your takes on this. So, Ian, we'll start with you. What do you got for the 10 car?
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I gotta give Eric Almirola a D just for his effort. Like this whole season, he's looked fast in the beginning of a race, and then he'll just drop like a rock when we get halfway through it, and then he's nowhere to be found. I'm sorry, yeah, Eric Almirola, he's got talent, but he's just not showing it halfway through the race. Yeah, he's been getting lucky with those front row starts that he's been getting with the random drawings, and he's been showing speed in the early parts of the races. But once we get through pit cycles, once there's yellows, he just drops. So honestly, yeah, I gotta go with a D just because he's just not showing. Like he should have at least 2 wins by now this season, and he's got nothing. So D.
I'm going to have to go ahead and respectively disagree a little bit here. I'm going to give him a B. And here's why. I think it's a little incorrect to assume that he had a race winning car. I don't think he did. I think he got around a very broken Kyle Busch car early in the race and got aided by clean air, as we've seen in Kentucky time and time again. The class of the field cars were the 12 and the 19. And the 19 started in the back, and this is a very treacherous track when it comes to passing. So you didn't really get to see that he was the best car until the race was very much so established. I thought
Truex
that.
started back as well.
What's that?
Truex started in the back as well.
That's who I meant. Truex,
Oh, I
19.
thought you said Blaney.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
Blaney started like 12th or something.
Okay.
So, but going back to what I'm saying, I think he was aided a lot by track position early in the race. I don't necessarily think he had a race-winning car. I think he had about a top 5-ish, 5th place-ish car, somewhere in that range. And he finished 8th, which is in that kind of area. And I want to go ahead and guess he did get stage points in both stages, right?
Not in stage 2.
He
got
didn't
him
in stage 2.
1.
Okay. Okay, so he got him in stage 1, then came back and got 8th after ripping off how many top 5s in a row before this? 5? So, again, is he a finisher when it comes to time to close the race out? Probably not at this point in his career, but it's not like he's running 16th to 18th week in and week out either. If he started very slow, he's starting to put his season together now. He goes 5th, 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 8th. That's a pretty good little streak here. I don't even be too mad about that. So I just think, like I said, this last weekend in Kentucky, people got their hopes up a little bit for him, and he really didn't have the car we thought he did.
Right. Well, that's why I put him as our controversy driver, because I was this is exactly what I wanted from this. This is the first time we've really done something like this. So I give Eric Almirola a C. I wasn't gonna go.
Oh, you punk! You go right in the middle of both of us.
I was gonna go right in the middle of both of you guys because, yeah, he's got to be disappointed with this. I know he led a career high in laps. He's having a good day, and then that second stage when he loses the lead, he goes back. He's still rebounded, got a top 10 finish. So this isn't the end of the world for Eric Almirola, but this is now like the second, third, or fourth time this season we've seen him lead races early, dominate races early, and then lose them in the end. But there's still nothing to hang his head over because he's still very, very comfortable in the playoff situation. But it's just when we go down the road, gonna have to start executing there. So I give him a C. So before we wrap up, I got a couple honorable mentions I want to talk about. Of course, the first guy on my list is Matt Dibenedetto, 3rd place finish. Ran top 5 all day. And this team in the last 3 to 4 races has gotten stage points in both stages 1 and 2. And this was the most amount of points that Matt has gained in a single race all season was here at Kentucky. He kind of got screwed by Cole Custer winning because he went from 12th in points all the way back to 15th on the edge. So kind of got screwed right there with the rookie winning, but still a great day nonetheless. 21 team is here to play. I've mentioned him in our last like 2 Kinzels classrooms ago, so that's why he did not make my roster card today. And then second on my list, Austin Dillon, P13. He rebounded. His solid season for RCR is continuing. And then the third guy on my list, Ty Dillon, had a very nice P16 run for Germain Racing, a good top 20 run for those guys. So after this Kinzels classroom, I will need the drivers of Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin staying after class. Welcome to the Breakfast Club, boys. But other than that, class dismissed.
I just want to say really quickly, if you would have told me at any point in the year, again, it is 2020, so anything's possible at this point. You'd have told me on one show that Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch both would have made the Breakfast Club, I'd have told you you're out of your mind.
Oh.
Well, it happened.
I was disappointed, man. I was disappointed.
Hey, so, Kyle Busch is doing terrible and Austin Cindric's winning. It's 2020.
Yeah, what is life?
It really is.
It's 2020.
That is it. Class is dismissed.
All right, so that'll do it for the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Mike Gamble.
And I'm Professor Nick Kinzel.
And guys, if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to listen to us on all podcast platforms. We're on Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts. If you're listening to us, make sure to watch our videos on YouTube. Make sure to follow our good buddy Patrick Cotto with the Cotto's Mojo podcast. It's a great Chicago-based sports podcast. And make sure to follow our friends at Ashland Heddens Racing. Ashland just got off a great heat win on Saturday night, and she came in 3rd in the main race. So congratulations to Ashland. And guys, make sure to check out our shows this week and our shows after the All-Star race. So have a good week, everyone.